Hello, everybody. This time we're going to look at another strategy when you write an argumentative writing. And the strategy is called counter arguments. You might have heard of it, so this is a revision. All right, so imagine that there's a topic about homework, and your argument would be doing homework is a waste of time. So this is what you believe. You think it's bad. What is a counter argument? Good writers will think about what the opposing side would have to say in response to this. So you will think in detail and think how your opponents, how people who are not having the same belief would think. So this is the first step. You think of what the others would think that are different from you. And then you have to think of how to respond to it. When you're arguing whether homework is a good thing or bad thing, not everyone has the same belief, right? You might think that homework is a waste of time, so you think it's terrible. Whereas some of your classmates or people might say, doing homework can actually help you consolidate knowledge after the lesson. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. So what happens if two people have different opinion? Maybe you want to continue the argument like babies, little kids like this. No, I think homework is a waste of time. And then your friend said, yes, homework can help consolidate knowledge. After homework, I want homework. And then the other students say no, you say no, your friends say yes, and then you say no. This is a very childish way of arguing. You're not going to convince each other to try to accept each other's opinion. So we need to think of a smarter way. No one will win in this situation as no one is trying to persuade the other logically. Very often we ask you to try using facts, that means numbers and figures, from some kind of studies. You can also share stories to convince the other to believe in you. But today we're focusing on counter-argument. Counter-argument is a little bit difficult, but once you master it, you can trick people in believing in what you believe in, even though they have a different opinion. When forming counter-arguments, you have to ask yourself, you have to do some brainstorming. You need to think, how would people who are different from my belief think? So think like your enemy. Think like your enemy. And then if you find out what they think, if you manage to think what your enemy or opponents think, then the next question you ask yourself is, what can I say back? How can I win this battle? How can I fight back with smart words? Now, when using counter argument, let's use the homework example again. Your argument is doing homework is a waste of time. And you probably remember the boy over here, this boy, he believes that homework is a good thing, right? What if you suddenly seem to agree with your friend's belief? What if you say, doing homework is a waste of time, but I also know that some people say doing homework can help consolidate knowledge after the lesson. Wow, what would your friend think when he hears something like that? It seemed like you agree with him, so he would be like, oh, he is also on my side. I can relax now. He's not an enemy. I don't have to think of points to argue back because he is on my side. He also believes in what I believe. But this is a trick. When you use counter argument, this is how you trick people. You don't stop. Please don't stop here. Don't stop here. And I need everyone to write this part on your notes. It is not in your notes. Please write it down. You cannot agree with your opponent and stop there because that means you lose the battle. You lose the argument. Don't stop there when they are relaxed. You continue to trick them. And how do you trick them? It is important to discredit the counter argument. Discredit means to make it seem incorrect, okay? To make it seem not worth it. You might have agreed with your classmates just now saying, oh, maybe you can doing homework can help learning more, can consolidate knowledge. You don't stop there. Make it sound incorrect, like this, okay? So uh, you show that you seem to agree with your opponent's opinion in a counter argument. Don't stop there. You can say they might be right to a certain extent, but boys and girls, you all need to write the words that are highlighted in your notes now. I hope you can use these two phrases in your upcoming writing. Some people say that, okay, tell me what they think, and then you can say they may be right to a certain extent. 喺某一個程度上啱 okay? To only a little bit. They might be right to a certain extent, but whenever you add a but, you know this is the time for you to fight back. So you can say, try to say something to make them think, oh yeah, what you said has a point there. Yeah, maybe doing homework is not worth it. So you need to make them think like that. So what do I put here? I said, they might be right to a certain extent, but after such a long day at school, we are all tired. How can we learn even more when we are so tired? It is a waste of time. So see, you're moving back to your argument. You are trying to convince them by mentioning the long day at school. So how can you still learn when doing homework after the lesson? You're not consolidating knowledge at all. This is purely waste of time. Do you get what this is? It's to fight back with you try to make them think you believe in what they say, and then you fight back with some very convincing points. Make their arguments seem worthless, seem not worth it, seem incorrect. Okay, form counter argument. Remember to discredit it. Here we have two examples. First one is case 1. Cell phones in classroom are disruptive because they will constantly be ringing. So this is what you believe. You think is bad. What do you think people who likes using mobile phones in lesson might say? How would they say it like a positive way? And then after that, after you can guess what they say, what will you say to fight back? Okay? Think about it. All right, so if you are the opponent, if you think that cell phones are good, then how are you going to guess what people who don't like using cell phones might say? And what are you going to say back to them? Now, boys and girls, I've actually presented you the for and against of using cell phones in classroom, and I hope you can try to think of some counter arguments. It's also in your notes. So I hope that one example is enough to demonstrate the importance of discrediting the counter arguments. Otherwise, you're not using counter arguments correctly. You need to be able to fight back in order to win the battle. Okay, hopefully I can see you using counter arguments in your writing.